We are Black Horse. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight we kick off a road trip in Pittsburgh and PNC Park. Game one of a weekend series, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. With Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. It is John Gant who gets the call tonight, and Gant has been okay as a starter so far.
Yeah, he certainly has, and having a guy like John Gant on the staff, to me, is incredibly important. Somebody who can start games for you, can go long relief, and that pitch right there is flat out filthy. The Vulcan change, you'll see a lot of it out of John Gant today.
Last time out, 4 1/3, and that was against the Philadelphia Phillies on Saturday. Meanwhile, it's a Pittsburgh Pirates debut for Joe Musgrove. You remember his name. He was with Houston last year in their run to a championship and part of the Garrett Cole deal. So he gets the start tonight.
Well, you know that Joe Musgrove, he's been in huge games. His last game he pitched in was Game 6 of the World Series, so you know the jitters aren't going to get there, but he wants to leave a good impression. This is his first outing as a member of the Pirates. He was the highlighter of that trade. He'll throw the kitchen sink at you, but his slider is very, very good. It's a big start for Joe Musgrove today.
Coming up, the top of the lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals, Pham, Martinez, Carpenter, those three coming up when we come back. It's Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest.
and I'm sure he's been chomping at the bit. When you're the headliner of a trade, you want to get out there and impact your new team as fast as possible, but he's ready now, and I'm sure he's excited for this one.
So Musgrove on the mound. This will be the lineup that he'll face tonight. Tommy Pham, Matt Carpenter, Jose Martinez. Martinez 9th in the league in hitting at .312. Marcell Ozuna, Jed Jerko, Dexter Fowler, Francisco Pena, Colton Wong, and the pitcher John Gant. This is the 150th meeting between the two clubs here at PNC Park. Mike Matheny leading the St. Louis Cardinals, and Clint Hurdle on the other side, the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's 3 here in Pittsburgh, then 3 in Milwaukee and back home. These two teams will face each other 7 times in the next 10 days. And the first pitch is strike, and we're underway. Tommy Pham hitless in his last 14 at-bats with 10 strikeouts.
You got to feel that's not going to last very long with a guy like Tommy Pham. He makes adjustments so well. Great student of the game.
And a ground ball that's hit to short, taken there by Jordy Mercer. And there's one away. The Hyundai pitch arsenal with Musgrove. Fastball, slider, sinker, changeup. And notice that the curveball, he rarely, if ever, throws it.
Yeah, he really likes his slider in a spot. He's going to go to it. There's no doubt about that. And velocity, you're already seeing a little tick up right here. He's usually 92 to 94. His first 2, you've seen 95. A little late cut, just natural cut to it. He's going to be a tough customer. There's a reason they made this trade and brought him in as the headline.
Here's Matt Carpenter batting .199, and he has been on a tear. Last 9 days, 13 hits, most in baseball, and 8 of the 13 have gone for extra bases.
Well, if you're going to get them in bunches like that. I know batting .199 doesn't look great. From where he was a couple of weeks ago, a $1.99 is okay. He's trending in the right direction right now, and you got to love to see that.
You know, the Cardinals have talked about trying to get Carpenter, Fowler, Ozuna going. Get somebody going out of that trio, and maybe it's Matt Carpenter. Here's a 1-1. Drilled out to right field. It's at the wall and off that chain link fence. Polanco has a cannon in right field, shows it off, and holds Carpenter to a single.
You see Carpenter here just get a fastball middle up in a little bit, something he can drive. It's a long single, but this is a smart move to put on the brakes right there. Like you said, Polanco has got a rocket out there in right field, makes a strong throw, and he gets something going here with Jose Martinez up, who has been in fuego recently.
He's batting .347 on the road, .312 overall. That .347 mark away from Busch, 3rd best in the National League. Musgrove made 38 appearances last year with Houston, 15 coming as a starter. He struggled in that role. His ERA was over 6. Then in mid-July they moved him to the bullpen, and his ERA was 1.44. So obviously the move paid dividends. 2 strikes on Jose Martinez.
There's that slider right there, and that's something that was way more effective for him out of the bullpen. He was able to go fastball, slider, and just attack with those 2, and he seemed very comfortable in the role. But obviously the Pirates trade for him knowing that his future is as a starter. And for him, I know it's different to get traded. He's been traded twice in his career so far, but look at the opportunity that's provided for him here that wasn't going to be there with the Astros.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Jose Martinez. Little check swing. Really, it's been a good deal for the Pirates when you think about the fact that you give up a pitcher that will hit free agency. Most believe he would not have re-signed with the Pirates, and they get 3 guys back, 1 in their rotation. That's Musgrove, Michael Feliz, who's now in the 8th inning, and Colin Moran, who could be a starter. So he can play all over the infield. Inside corner. Garrett Cole, by the way, with Houston, 5-1, 1.86 ERA. He's been really good.
That's what makes it hurt a little bit more as a fan. You understand it. Fans are smart. They understand the logistics of the game, and you know when you're going to be able to keep somebody or not. But when you see your guy leave and continue to tear it up like that, that's why a day like this for Pirate fans is exciting.
The strikeout of Jose Martinez, 2 away. The defense behind Musgrove tonight: Dickerson, Meadows, Polanco in the outfield. Moran, Mercer, Harrison, and Bell on the infield. Cervelli behind the plate. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs. Marcell Ozuna, well documented, did not start in the last home game in St. Louis. He overslept. Cardinals have talked about handling that internally, and he's back in the starting lineup tonight. From a player's perspective, what happens when a situation like that occurs?
Well, you do understand that we all have messed up at some point, but as a teammate, I mean, your biggest job is to be there day in, day out, be there for your guys. So you're going to you're going to accept them back. You're going to be fine with it, but you do have to let a guy know from a teammate standpoint and from a manager and from a front office standpoint that's not okay, that it's not acceptable. And I'm sure that that's something that they've done. I'm sure that Marcell Ozuna feels bad for it, and it's something that it just can't happen again. That's the thing. Learn from your mistakes. We've all made mistakes, but it's about learning from them. If you make the same one over and over again, well, then you've got yourself a problem. I will say this: if he just goes on a tear at some point soon, we will forget about it a little bit sooner.
And Ozuna on the first pitch pops it up. Shallow left. Dickerson, long way to go. Camps under it. That's a big league pop up there, folks. John Gant to the mound when we come back. Hit 300 against Gant. The righties owe 80, second largest difference in all of baseball.
It certainly is a big one, and this isn't indicative of his career. He's always handled lefties quite well, so you've got to assume those numbers are going to come back to the middle.
Harrison, Polanco, and Cervelli, followed by Bell, Dickerson, Moran, Austin Meadows, who's on a tear, Jordy Mercer, and Joe Musgrove. Clint Hurdle is seeing the ups and downs of being a major league manager, and his club surprising a lot of people. 5 games above the 500 mark, 3 games out in the Central, and tied with St. Louis. The Cubs 3.5 games back, and Milwaukee's 31-20. And the 0-1 pitch. Josh Harrison, 4 games since returning to the leadoff spot. Had a broken left hand, missed 30 games, and he's 8 for 19, double, triple, and driven in 2. We've seen over the years he's a good one. And the 0-2 pitch. Nasty pitch there. Had him way out in front. There's that changeup. A good one from Gant. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. So brings in Gregory Polanco. And Polanco off to a slow start. He's batting .218 with 8 home runs. And he's driven in 22. And the first pitch is strike. The thought was here in Pittsburgh, you still had Polanco, Marte, and there's that changeup again. McCutchen gone in San Francisco, but that Polanco and Marte would kind of carry the freight.
Well, and they seem to be guys that can. And Marte missing him is big for them, him being gone. But Polanco is one of those guys that has raw talent. He's got so many tools, so many weapons. You saw the arm. He showed it off on the long single by Carpenter there. But he still hasn't been able to put them together for a long time. And you're going to be patient. You're going to wait. You're going to hope. But for them, they're hoping it comes sooner rather than later. Nice fastball right there. 95 climbing the ladder by Gant.
So back-to-back strikeouts for John Gant. Take a look at this pitch. It's up in the zone. As Brad mentioned, 95 up, and he swung through it for strikeout number 2.
It's nice to be able to climb the ladder like that with the 95. He has the velocity to go with it, but if you're Polanco, you're thinking about that Vulcan change that he just got Harrison with, thinking that might be coming at you, and then you see it up out of his hand, and there's no way that you can stop yourself.
Look at Gant. He finally steps off the pitching rubber. And Cervelli took his time getting in the box. He has 7 home runs, which is matched his single season high that he had back in 2015. Home plate umpire is a local product, Jeremy Rehack. Bill Miller, the crew chief, Todd Titchener, and Alan Porter on the bases. And the 1-0 pitch to Cervelli. And he went. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Nasty slider right there from Gant, just showing off he's got a feel for everything already in the first inning.
And a grounder that's hit to short, taken there by Jerko. And he makes the play. So the Pirates go in order. And we head to the second. There's no score. He had a conversation with Francisco Cervelli right here. Watch this. After the ground out, hustling down the line, and specifically to get to Rehak. And then those two talked it over for a good 30 seconds or so. Kamara Barti is the first base coach for the Pirates, just to make sure he got in between those two. And I'm not sure if it was he not going to award time or what his frustration was in the at-bat, but something obviously upset him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Francisco Cervelli, he's a veteran, he's a pro, and he's going to make sure that he approaches things in the right way. You got to have a good relationship back there. I know that we can all see the strike zone at home, but it can dance a little bit if, in fact, you don't have that. But you still want to get answers, and you still ask questions the right way. And most umpires are pretty good with that if you poise it in the right way. And it kind of seemed like Francisco, he might have been peeved about something, but he still handled it pretty well.
The player has a right to talk to the umpire.
Just like any other human, but it's how you approach a conversation. If you approach something with aggression, oftentimes that's what you get right back.
So here's Jed Jerko, 10 home runs in his career against Pittsburgh, second most for Jed against any opponent. And the 0-1. Jerko, base hit into left field, the second Cardinal hit on the night.
You know that Musgrove is going to attack him with off speed, goes slider here, but gets one just up a little bit. And Jed Jerko does a good job of just staying with it, pulls this ball up in the zone. He hunts fastballs, and we all know, we've seen it for the last couple of years. Any fastball, he can put a good swing on it, but if you leave a breaking ball up, he can get that too.
So here is Dexter Fowler. The runner at first, Jed Jerko, nobody out. And Fowler, little flare out to center, and a sliding catch made by Meadows.
I got to be honest with you, with Fowler there, I actually kind of like the approach. When you have a guy who has been struggling a little bit, Dexter Fowler just goes at it first pitch, thinking he's going to get a fastball to get ahead. Doesn't necessarily barrel this thing, but Meadows comes in, makes a good play. Sometimes you have to do that, though. Dexter is good at working counts, and he's good at he'll take his walk when you need to. Sometimes when you want to just jumpstart your offense a little bit, you got to get up there and swing, and he did that there.
Well, it's the first time for Francisco Pena to play against the Pirates. Last time we were here, Yadier Molina was behind the plate. And Pena's father, of course, an outstanding catcher back in the day with the Pirates. He was a four-time All-Star with Pittsburgh, All-Star 1 year with St. Louis, played in over 800 games with the Pirates and hit .286. It's a trade that included Mike LaValliere, Andy Van Slyke. And it's an out at second. Pena now starts to run down the line, and it turns into a double play. took on Wednesday. More on that, Jeremiah Johnson.
Happy to be here in Pittsburgh. No surprise to be doing an in-game report, and it relates to injuries. But as you mentioned, the Cardinals avoided a casualty on Wednesday when Pena was hit by that foul tip off a pitch from Jordan Hicks. I talked with him before the game. He said he admitted he was a little worried at the beginning. When you have a ball that hits you when it's been thrown 103 or 104, I thought it was going to be worse, but everything is good. He said, I have a huge bruise, but, you know, catchers are tough. I'm ready to go. And what a job he's done with the pitching staff also at the plate. I asked him about his hitting. He only wanted to talk about his work as a catcher. The catcher knows his priority is to handle the starters, and he's done a great job all season long.
All right, Jeremiah, thank you. Of course, his dad was involved in that deal that I spoke of. That was in 1987, and it happened on April 1st. And, you know, some thought it was April Fool's Day. You know what? This is a joke of a trade. It was not. Pena came to St. Louis, and the rest is history.
I kind of feel like they shouldn't allow trades on April 1st.
Right.
Just because of such a thing. I mean, people will do things like that.
Players have been known to have a trick or two up their sleeve.
Shenanigans every once in a while. You know, it can be a long season. You got to be able to come up with stuff. I think a fake trade is a bit elaborate.
Just past Wong and into right field off the bat of Josh Bell. The Hyundai pitch arsenal is Gant struck out 2 in the first. The changeup, it's a Vulcan grip 27% of the time, and I know you've fiddled with that just like many pitchers, trying to get different feel with the baseball, different grips. It's a unique grip, to say the least.
It really is, and it's quite effective. We've seen it already with Gant, but you spread those fingers out so much, and those exquisite hands right there are mine. I don't think I'll be a hand model, but you see how he just spreads it out across the horseshoe there, and it just creates that tumble when he throws it. And it is all about tinkering. I'm sure he's tried every grip, the circle change, straight change, 3-finger change, but that's the one that made sense to him. That's the one that he's got the best feel for. And it's nasty. It's great to right-handers, great to lefties, and something that he sets up really well with his fastball.
0-1 the count on Corey Dickerson. He's played in 17 games against the Cardinals in his career and hit .361. Former Tampa Bay Ray.
In one of the bigger head-scratching moves of the offseason, him getting DFA'd after having a very good year and a great pickup by the Pirates. He has been outstanding for them.
And the Rays have been very busy in terms of deals that they've been making and trying to get under payroll. Also, what they've done with their rotation. But today, the Rays acquired a right-handed pitcher, Andrew Moore, and Tommy Romero from Seattle for Alex Colomé, and the Cardinals were linked to him, remember, in the offseason. And Denard Span also going to the Seattle Mariners. So we're in the bottom of the second here at PNC Park, and the 0-1 pitch to Dickerson. Turn to Brad Thompson's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, for John Gant, execute in. And what I mean here, this is specifically to the lefties. You saw the graphic earlier. Lefties batting .300 against Gant. That Vulcan change that we've talked about so far in this game, it is crazy effective. It's nasty. It drops off the table. But if a lefty knows it's coming, they can wait on it a little bit. He needs to be able to execute that fastball in the inner half against left-handers.
And the 0-2 spoiled. And Gant's got a good fastball, as we saw in the second strikeout to Polanco. He can get it in the mid-90s, can get away with it up in the zone too.
It happens a lot of times when somebody has a great secondary pitch, and then his changeup is great. You forget about the velocity and the fact that it jumps. I remember Derek Lilliquist last year saying the first time he saw him, it was sneaky fast. Just wasn't expecting that. I feel like we do the same thing with Miles Michaelis. His off speed is so good that we forget how hard he actually throws.
We saw when Marcell Ozuna was at the plate, the bugs that were bugging him. And you see it on our camera shots, a lot of bugs, and the players were talking about that during BP. whatever reason, there's just something around that's brought them in.
Well, players are very healthy. I feel like that's just another form of protein if, in fact, you do it correctly.
No thanks.
Okay.
I'm good.
It's a new trend. That'll be a diet soon.
And the 1-2 lifted into center. Pham. Sliding catch by Tommy Pham. This ballpark, boy, that's a chancy play. Gets by him, and you're talking about all kinds of problems, but Tommy Pham comes up with a dandy.
It was a tough play, too. Tommy Pham finds himself caught in between on this one. Doesn't know if he wants to go under with the glove or have it extended. And he adjusts well, makes a good play. This thing, Dickerson does a good job. He chokes up here, puts it in play with 2 strikes. Very tough guy to strike out. And Tommy Pham makes a nice play out there in center field.
Here's Colin Moran sitting near 400 here at home. It's 375. He's driven in 22, and 16 of the 22 have been here at PNC Park. Right down the middle for a strike. It's early, but it looks like John Gant has a pretty good feel for his stuff here tonight. That has been a cause of concern at times, his lack of control. In his career, nearly 4 walks per 9. And the 0-1 pitch. A changeup lifted in the air to Dexter Fowler. That's out number 2. The Cardinals defensively tonight, Ozuna, Pham, and Fowler in the outfield. Carpenter, Jerko, Wong, and Martinez on the infield. Pena behind the plate. And around the horn is presented by Dobbs. The talk of Pittsburgh baseball has been Austin Meadows. 11 hits in his first 6 games.
He had a nice one the other night, 2-run home run to make it a 1-run game against the Reds. It was off of a lefty, Amir Garrett, tough pitch, inner half. He can turn and burn. You throw a fastball middle, he can execute on that.
So 2 outs and the runner at first. Outfield deep, they're straight away. One thing about Gant, he's very deliberate with runners on, really slows down the pace.
Well, he's not very fast to the plate. His delivery's not quick. On average, he's 1.5 to 1.8 seconds, which is kind of slow, but it's okay if you vary your looks over to first base. It's okay if you just throw over there, and it's okay if you hold the ball for a little bit first. It slows a runner down.
And the 0-1. Fouled back. You look at this young man. I was down in batting practice early here at the ballpark and watching Meadows take BP. He's got that really pretty, sweet lefty swing.
There's just something about that. There's something about it that right-handers, you can try, but very rarely do you hear of just a pretty right-handed swing. Something about the finish, falling towards the base. You can start your run.
And a swing and a miss. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 3rd strikeout for John Gant. Coming up, Wong, Gant, and Pham. Bug just landed on my scorecard and I accidentally killed it.
Protein.
Look at that.
serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
So here is Colton Wong to lead off the top of the third here in Pittsburgh. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Wong hitting 179. He's popped 3 home runs, driven in 9. Hits it off the end of the bat, little squibber to short. Mercer comes up with it. And that's the first out. May see a lot of Colton Wong, could see a lot of Dexter Fowler on this road trip. And the reason I bring that up, the right-handed pitching the Cardinals will face. Every starter is right-handed on this trip with the exception of Brent Suter. So you got Williams tomorrow, Trevor Williams, and then Jamison Taillon on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's all about reps. You have to be able to be in there to get yourself right. And Colton Wong, at the very least, he plays premium defense. He's great over there around the bag. He ranges like no other. But you'd like to see him going offensively, especially because he had such a quiet, good year last year, and it was overshadowed by some other things. But he was just steady, and that's the player that they expected. That's the player that he can be. So you'd like to see him get the reps, but ultimately, you got to get production as well.
Say it all the time. It is a results-driven business. Cruel at times.
It is. It's hard. But as you also mentioned a lot, it's a people business. So you have to be able to balance the two. You have to figure that out. And it's not easy. It really is not. To be able to put the right thing together day in and day out, it's a tough thing to do.
On a hop to second, Harrison retires Gant. Let's turn to our Kia drive to success. Joe Musgrove. And the numbers as a starter and a reliever. Speaking of relieving, that is something that Pittsburgh has done quite well. They have some of the best relief corps collectively in all of baseball. Second lowest ERA. And if they have a lead, 6th inning or later, they don't cough it up. They haven't done that yet. Here's Tommy Pham. And Pham lifts a fly ball down the right field line and out of play.
We got a chance to see that bullpen in action firsthand last time here in Pittsburgh. They took over and shut it down, didn't give up a run, I believe, in about 9 innings. And they've had a shakeup at the back end of their bullpen. Contos was the 8th inning guy, was designated today for Musgrove. Michael Feliz, another part of that trade for Garrett Cole, has taken over the 8th inning. And things have worked quite well down there for this bullpen.
Matter of fact, as you just mentioned, the bullpen of the Pirates had 11 1/3 innings, no runs allowed against St. Louis. And the 0-2 is a strikeout of Pham. Strikeout number 2 for Joe Musgrove. We're midway through 3 and there's no score. Take home a Cardinals Saturday alternate jersey with embroidered front logo, courtesy of Scott Credit Union. Also, it's photo day and the Ritz kickoff to summer weekend. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And that pitch hit down the left field line, but yanked foul as we're underway here in the home half of the third. Cardinal fan with a nice play.
Makes the grab and gives it away.
Uh-huh.
It's BFIB stuff right there. It's exactly what that is. You would know.
Here's the 0-1 pitch.
Rocket down the line. Pirates fans ducking everywhere. There's the man. Bare hand. Son knew it the whole time. It's like Pops is going to get this.
Mom was a little nervous about it, and apparently so was their kid there. But nice play. No worries, no worries.
His son knew, though. His son knew the whole time, and that's the beauty of a son. They always believe that Dad's going to get it done.
And the 2-1 hit on the ground to Colton Wong for the out. Joe Savona is watching Cardinals baseball tonight from the Miller Group. Never misses a game. Joe, a big Cardinal fan, and enjoying Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Also a nice note here from Chet Willoughby of the famous St. Louis statistician family. And the Willoughbys enjoying Cardinals baseball. Here's Joe Musgrove with one out. It's got to be a little warm.
Somebody brought a date. That's nice.
Gant will step and throw. Makes the play. Were those throws always hard?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
It seems so. Because you're generally max effort-ish to the plate. And then you get this hit back to you. And you kind of ease it over. It's a totally different arm slot. It's a different everything. So it can be difficult. Now, there are some guys that make it far more difficult than it needs to be. There are some guys that'll throw the 95-mile-an-hour rocket over to first base, or other guys that'll just jog it over every time. But I'd rather see a guy jog it over and make sure you're going to get it than a guy throw one up the line and all of a sudden a sure out is a double.
Here's Harrison. How are you taught? Step and throw usually?
Yeah, get your feet under you. I mean, make sure you have to know your runner. Right there, it's the pitcher. You know, you have plenty of time to set your feet. You don't have to make a strong throw necessarily. But you just turn into, as soon as you let go of the ball, you're a fielder. You are just like everybody else out there. You're trying to make a play. So your footwork is huge. You got to make sure they're under you, and he did a very good job.
Curveball and a beauty. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
Big breaking ball right there, 77 miles an hour. We've seen him use the slider. There's the changeup again. Step and throw, feet under him.
Take us to break, Brad. Means you got to say
Jose
something.
Martinez coming up to bat the Cardinals offense. About to get on the board.
Visit MLB.tv for details. Here's Carpenter, who singled off the wall in right. 21 feet high in right field. Roberto Clemente wore number 21, the Hall of Famer, longtime Pirate. What makes that wall tricky, though, is the chain link fence. And a lot of times, instead of maybe coming back to an outfielder, you can go back on it and it hits that fence and just deadens, just drops.
That's the key as an outfielder. I mean, if you play here every day, if you're Polanco, you know how the ball caroms, you know how to react. But if you don't play here every day, you better get here early, throw baseballs off of it, have the coach hit the fungos off of it. Whatever it is, you need to be able to see how it reacts, because that could be the difference of a game, how you play a ball off of that wall.
Willie McGee was here early and working on cutoff throws from right field with both Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill.
I think that there has been a lot more coaching going on this year, specific like little stuff. And this isn't just a Cardinal thing. I mean, this is all around baseball. You get younger guys that get to the league beforehand, and as much as you'd like to think that they have every single fundamental figured out, it's not necessarily the case. And it's all about repetition. You got to keep learning, you got to keep doing things. I like it. I like the fact that it's continued education. We can all use that.
It's that chain link fence, sometimes drops down. Other times you'll see it just really shoot towards right center and center field. That one is pulled foul. Definitely seeing a different Matt Carpenter, driving the ball, using more of the entire field. He's too good of a hitter to be hitting 200.
Yeah, he really is, and it's great he's trending in the right direction. It was nice to see him drive the ball off the wall, and just recently he looks more comfortable in there. But I mean, this is way longer than any of us expected to see him struggle. But you know it can't last for too long.
Strikeout number 3 for Musgrove.
Well, threw him a couple sliders, and it looks like he goes with the changeup right here, just gets it under the zone. I don't know if he was trying to go in there. Probably was trying to go away a little bit more, but he missed under the zone. Very nice pitch right there by Joe Musgrove. Showing off the whole arsenal so far, as is John Gant.
There's Jose Martinez. Struck out swinging back in the first inning. Musgrove, the 7th different starter used by the Pirates this year. They used a total of 7 starters a year ago. And there's a fly ball off the end of the bat into shallow right center. And Austin Meadows with the catch.
It is very difficult to get through the season with your starting 5. Something always pops up. Other things happen. The Cardinals were fortunate last year. They didn't have to use their 6th starter until I believe it was Marco Gonzalez started the 2nd game of a doubleheader. But very rarely do you get that fortunate. You have to use the farm system quite a bit. We got a chance to see Nick Kingham in his major league debut last time out. Had a no-hitter going on. Was it a perfect game or no-hitter going on until the 6 2/3?
Perfect game.
Man.
There's a base hit for Ozuna. A little excuse me swing, and he'll take it. He's 1 for 2.
That's a line drive in the book right there.
Shortstop, Jed.
Just a very tough play for Musgrove right there. Falls off a little bit towards the first base side. It's one of those ones that you know it's spinning like crazy. You have it feels like an eternity to get to it, and he just missed it right there. That's kind of how baseball goes. You get those ones every once in a while. You have rockets hit at people. It seems to all come out in the wash.
Really does, especially over 162 games. Here's Jed Jerko and a liner that's caught by Harrison. So Jed 1 for 2 on the night. Ozuna left stranded, and there's no score.
Start last night in Memphis. How about this? 7 innings, 1 hit allowed, 13 strikeouts, 62 strikes in his 90 pitches for Memphis. 4 rehab starts, that's 23 scoreless innings. It does not get much better than that. He had a 9-strikeout inning. Outstanding performance from Alex Reyes. And how about his catcher for the night? Carson Kelly tweeted after the game, man, that was fun. Do it, Alex Reyes. And Alex retweeted. It was Alex's first tweet since February 2nd. Still no date officially, but he could be with the Cardinals as early as Tuesday. Danny Mac, Cardinal fans cannot wait.
Count me in. I can't wait either.
Me neither. 4 starts on this rehab, and he was throwing an extended spring training, and all the reports were great out of there. But in his 4 start, didn't give up a run, punched out 44 batters in his 23 innings of work. I mean, those are ridiculous numbers.
And as Jeremiah reported, at one point, 9 straight strikeouts in the game last night. And the PCL, Pacific Coast League, that's an offensive league.
And it's been around for a long time.
A long time, and that's never happened before. So he made some history last night. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And while the offense for the Cardinals, you know, it's been hit and miss this year. We talked about the struggles of some that are in the lineup. The pitching has been, for the most part, off the charts, and that will keep you in games, keep you in the division race.
That's the reason the Cardinals are where they are right now. It's been the starting pitching, for the most part, carrying this team.
There's a catch by Wong off the bat of Polanco.
And you just like to see, and you know it's going to happen, but there have been a few starts this year that the Cardinals have lost by a run or two because they haven't been able to get anything going offensively. Once that happens, once that clicks, watch out for this team.
John Mozeliak, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, hinted at the fact that there would not be an innings limit with Reyes. So if you go deep into October, he's there. He's a guy that you can count on. But time will tell. A strike to Cervelli. Cardinals starters 3 earned runs or less in their last 14.
It's really good. I love the way that they handled Alex Reyes. I mean, you know the stuff that he has. You saw it early, and by all accounts, he was probably ready earlier to come back to the big leagues. But they wanted to make sure they did it right. They wanted to make sure that he got enough starts under his belt where he felt comfortable. They felt comfortable. He got to work on his entire arsenal. And that's difficult. When you have an arm like that, to be able to just stay away from it, that's a hard thing to do, but they did a great job.
I think at this point, it's hard to evaluate where the Cardinals are at. The next to Cervelli. A lot of times you'll hear scouts or those that cover the game and have been doing it a long time. They say, okay, Memorial Day hits. This is who you are for the most part, depending and barring major deals. But for the Cardinals, if you're missing Carlos Martinez, you haven't seen Alex Reyes, Yadier Molina's out of the lineup, Paul DeYoung out of the lineup, it's really tough to say, well, this is who they are. That's 4 potential all-star players.
Yeah, this is certainly not what we've seen early this year, to this point this year. This is not who the Cardinals are going to be, in my opinion, later on. I know Mike Matheny believes the same thing. And when you put together the lineup every day, and you mentioned a couple of guys in DeYoung and Molina, and there's no question they are missing those guys. Molina, you miss him big time. When there's a runner on, you need to get a guy over. You just need to get drive a guy in. You need somebody up in a clutch spot. You miss him tremendously. But these guys offensively will get going. Matt Carpenter will get going. You know that there's more in the tank for Dexter Fowler. Marcell Ozuna is not going to be a guy that just hits squibers in the infield and gets a single out of it. He's going to be driving the ball in the gap and hitting home runs for you. But until that point, it's been nice to be able to lean on this starting pitching.
Kept him in games.
Tommy Pham, another guy that you know just he's going through a little bit of a rough patch right now, struggling in the last week or so. But he's carried this team offensively for the last year plus.
Here's a 1-2. Taken high. One final already in the Central Division today. The Cubs over San Francisco. 6-2 at Wrigley. And Kyle Hendricks is now 4-3. Picked up the win for the Cubbies. Here's a 2-2.
I actually like watching Kyle Hendricks pitch because he's not your prototypical 98, 99 mile an hour guy. Kind of works the corners, has that sink. Can do the front door sinker.
Cerebral with his approach. 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. That's 4 tonight for John Gant. The Chevy Fox Tracks.
So you see Gant right here go with that Vulcan change right under the zone. 84, we mentioned it early. That pitch is good against righties, good against lefties. And he just buried one right there.
Brings in Bell, a single to right.
Nice backdoor slider right there to get him started.
Kubota Power Stats, the Pirates, most extra base hits in the National League this year, just one ahead of Chicago. You thought about McCutcheon and Cole, and if you're a fan of this franchise, you're saying, well, what are they doing? Well, the moves. Now, Cole, that one hurts. McCutcheon, you got some value out of him, clearly, but it's tough to see some of your favorite players go. And Bell, a swing and a miss. Boy, that was methodical there by Gant.
Slider, curveball, heater in. Great pitch right there to tie him up.
Dexter Fowler leads it off when we come back. Hand Ramirez designated for assignment by the Red Sox. And for the first place Milwaukee Brewers, their outstanding young shortstop Orlando Arcia sent to AAA, and we'll see the Brewers on Monday.
Well, with the Hanley Ramirez one, I mean, it kind of is surprising there. His numbers weren't terrible. They weren't great by any means. But I feel like as much as Boston says it's not, this is a money move for next year. And I know they're not an organization that does that, but he had a contract clause that kicks in. He would have made his $23 million for next year with a certain amount of ABs this year. They figured maybe they could dodge that. They've got a lot of talent over there and maybe didn't want that on the books.
And Fowler hits a fly ball into right field. Polanco won't get there. One hop off the wall. He's throwing to second base, is not in time. Standing up with a double, Dexter Fowler. If not for a sliding catch his first time up, he'd be 2 for 2.
It is so nice to see Dexter get this going. You see Musgrove here, throws him a breaking ball, center cut, and just drives the baseball. That's one thing that we just haven't seen Dexter do a lot this year, is just get the barrel on the ball, hit the ball hard. You know he's got it in him. He showed off quite a bit of power last year for the Cardinals. Nice to see a little bit of that there, and hustling the whole way to get that double.
Here's Francisco Pena. And Pena, the 7th place hitter in the lineup. Hits it to the right side. Fowler advancing to third. He does his job. Just one final note, by the way, with the Hanley Ramirez deal. The Red Sox, prior to today, were responsible for about $20.5 million with players that are no longer on their roster. It's now up to 35. And they've got money that they owed still to Pablo Sandoval, Adrian Gonzalez, Alan Craig, Hanley Ramirez, who's been DFA'd. It totals up to about $35 million.
Well, it's easy to bring in good talent if you can just throw away money, too.
That's the point.
I mean, good for you, I guess.
One out, runner at third.
Seemed like the Dodgers went down that route a couple of years ago. So we'll just acquire everyone. We'll pay a bunch of money. They're still paying a bunch of money to guys that are on contracts. Not every organization can operate like that.
Find this a very tough spot. 8th place hitter. Will you be pitched to in this spot? The first pitch was a strike. And now they're going to go after him for sure. It's 0-2.
Yeah, before that, I mean, your thought process is, I'm going to let this guy get himself out. So I'm going to throw my off speed under the zone. I'm going to expand away. If I'm coming in, I'm coming way in off the plate to make sure that I don't make a mistake. But like you said, now you got him to this point, 0-2. It's bury him time, but he's not going to get anything to hit. I mean, you're going to make him chase. Francisco Cervelli, too, one of the best at blocking the ball. So you have that confidence if you want to bury a breaking ball here to Colton Wong. If you want to go down and in with that slider, you got the confidence that he'll get down and stop it with the runner on third.
It's a ball and 2 strikes on Colton Wong. Runner at third, Dexter Fowler. And a swing and a miss. Cervelli, pitch in the dirt, picked it, and a strikeout of Wong. Big strikeout midway through this ball game. Reminder, we have the Budweiser $4 ticket sale, and that'll be coming up. Limited time, fans can purchase tickets to see the Cardinals and Marlins June 5th, 6th, and 7th, or the Padres 11th through the 13th for just $4. Cardinals.com/4. 4th strikeout for Joe Musgrove. And strike 1 on John Gant.
Well, if John Gant's going to hurt you, it's going to be on a pitch like that, a fastball that ends up just coming back towards him into his swing a little bit. You get a leadoff double in this inning, a nice ground ball to the right side. You want to be able to get something out of it.
0-2. And he struck him out. Pitches out of the jam. Back-to-back Ks of Wong and Gantz. When we come back, one of our colleagues was honored. We'll talk about that next. Springfield. Wonderful to see for a great athlete, even better person, Rick Ankiel. Missouri Sports Hall of Fame does a wonderful job, and congratulations to Rick Ankiel, Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
It's pretty cool right there. And Rick has accomplished a ton in his career, continues to do so. Great doing this. The broadcasting aspect of it, his book is outstanding. And he's one of those guys that'll make you mad when you do anything with him because he's just automatically better than you at it.
Everything.
Everything. No, it's absolutely everything. Go play him at ping pong. That'll be real fun for you. He'll beat you with both hands. He's that good.
There's Corey Dickerson as we move to the bottom of the fifth. Dickerson was robbed by Tommy Pham back in the second inning. First pitch strikes for John Gant tonight. He's 10 of 14. Always important, that first pitch strike.
Just commanding the counts, being able to get to your other pitches. And Gant is also very good. If he doesn't get that first one, he gets right back in the count.
He's retired 9 straight. The only hit he is allowed was Josh Bell to lead off the bottom of the second with a base hit into right.
That pitch right there, change up just in a fastball count. That's why you get that swing. Dickerson looking for a pitch up to hit, sees it out of his hands, and it just drops off the table.
Good fastball. He's had that fastball up in the zone, then counters that with the
so effective
Vulcan
with the
grip and the
yes.
changeup. Man, really good stuff. That's what we're talking about. 96, the hardest that he's thrown. 77, the speed range for John Gant. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a base hit into center field. Left that one up.
That is a very rare 2-strike hit that John Gant gave up right there. He's done such a good job just burying hitters with 2 strikes. And we saw the good changeup in this at bat. We saw the fastball up in the zone. And he goes curveball right here, which has been effective in this game. Just ends up leaving it up a little bit. If he gets that thing 6 inches down in the zone, you end up getting that rollover or a swing over it.
Here's Colin Moran, formerly of Duck Dynasty.
He was really good on that
He
show.
really was.
Crack shot he was.
And a swing and a miss. Moran fly to right first time up. Big Cardinal fan watching tonight. They had the chance to go to Children's Hospital yesterday before we flew to Pittsburgh and visited with Jacob Whistler. Jacob was in a serious accident in Washington, Missouri. Thank goodness he not only survived it, but is going to get out of the hospital maybe later this week. And Jacob, it was great to see him, and you know the deal. You keep doing your rehab, you got tickets on me.
That's awesome.
Neat young man. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That pitch taken low, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, John Gant, I was thinking about this with this staff that the Cardinals have right now, and it's only going to get better when you add Martinez, add Reyes. Other teams, he'd break camp and be right in the middle of somebody's rotation. No problem.
Yeah, it's at times for the Cardinals, I mean, it's a blessing to have a guy like that, a guy that's able to start for you. He can go long relief. By the way, he's been quite efficient so far today. 15 pitches, the most that he's thrown so far in an inning. In his last start, he ended up throwing 24, I think it was, in the first inning. Had an error behind him, but it's nice to see him be so efficient. But for him, it's a difficult spot. You know that every time that you go out there, you're almost auditioning for the next one. But there's a role for him on this team, whatever it be, whether it's long relief, and I know that he's already been on that I-55 shuttle. You always need a guy like this on your team.
I think it's one of the most commonly asked questions we get right now is what happens to the rotation when Reyes comes back. And I know it's cliche, but man, is it ever so true. Things do have a way of taking care of themselves. And if not, barring an injury or trade or whatever, the Cardinals have options. What they want to do with their bullpen and rotation.
That's the biggest thing. No matter what happens, and I realize that this isn't true for every party involved, if in fact somebody has to get sent down, but from an organizational standpoint, there is no downside to Alex Reyes coming back. There is no downside to Carlos Martinez, who is got the second best ERA in the league, coming back whenever he is ready to come. I mean, these are good things going on for the Cardinals.
No doubt. So the strikeout of Moran, number 6 tonight. And Gann has struck out 3 of the last 4 he has seen. Here's Austin Meadows. He struck out back in the 2nd inning.
He got Meadows in the 2nd with a fastball. 8 of Meadows' 11 hits so far have come on off-speed pitches. He does a very good job of covering away, which is actually something that you don't hear about with a young hitter very often. He can still hunt the fastball. Like we said the other day, hit a 2-run home run off of Amir Garrett on a heater in. But he does a good job. If you're going to throw him that changeup, you got to make sure that you keep that thing down below the zone.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. And a fly ball lifted out to shallow left, racing in Ozuna to make the catch.
Well executed changeup right there.
Injury or illness should never interrupt childhood. St. Louis Children's Hospital, guardians of childhood.
Along with Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jeremiah Johnson is with us. Jim Hayes back in the studios of Fox Sports Midwest. And with 2 outs, the 8th place hitter, Jordy Mercer, grounded out to 2nd. His first time up. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Jordy Mercer. A little bit high, 2 balls and no strikes. And there's a strike, 2-1.
It's a good pitch right there, being able to drop that off speed in, get to the Vulcan change here. And you could just tell by the way Mercer reacted, he might not have liked the call, but he certainly wasn't ready for the pitch. He's geared up, dead red fastball, trying to do some damage, and you drop that thing in there, that completely changes the entire at bat.
And that's upstairs, so 3-1.
You'd certainly like to get Mercer here, have the pitcher leading off next inning. You go right at him.
Popped up, right side, Wong racing after it, and it drops. I got to wonder where Dexter Fowler is playing there.
Yeah, Wong is on this right off the bat, sprinting hard after it. I'm not sure if Dex got a late jump or if he's playing more towards the gap. Just doesn't end up getting there in that no man's land.
So it extends the inning now, 3-2. And the next to Jordy Mercer with the runner at first base. He struck him out. So 2 in the inning, 7 tonight for Gant. And coming up for the Cardinals, the top of the lineup, and that means Tommy Pham. And Tommy is over 2 tonight. They'll be followed by Carpenter and Martinez. Baseball is brought to you by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. By Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, the Pirates have to be thrilled tonight with Joe Musgrove. Was previously on the DL. His first start tonight at the strained right shoulder. This is his longest outing since about midway through last year when he was still in the rotation. At that point with Houston, and then went to the bullpen.
He showed command of all his pitches. Got himself out of a good jam there last inning after the leadoff double. He looks really good.
And Pham puts it on the ground again. Mercer makes the play. Tommy hustling always down the line. Well, you appreciate that, don't you?
Oh, no doubt. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
And
I
know he's frustrated.
For sure he is. But frustration, you can take it out multiple ways. You can take it out by dogging it to first base, or you take it out by running as fast as you can and hope that something happens. I know Clint Hurdle has talked about this with his team. The fact that striking out is not a good thing. It's not necessarily an okay thing. When you put the ball in play, you never know what might happen.
You see the shift in some of the numbers there. That ball taken outside by Matt Carpenter, who is 1 for 2. Single off the wall in right field. And he also struck out. Musgrove is struck out 5, and he's allowed 4 hits. So that the Cardinals only 21% that they have beaten the shift. That's at the bottom of the rankings of baseball. You know, a lot of that is due to what's happening here with Carpenter. He's going to see the shift every single time. And a fly ball lifted out to center field. Meadows with the catch. Jose Martinez talked about it earlier, how well he has hit away from Busch Stadium. Hit well at home too, but these are BJC Healthcare difference makers, and the splits with that trio.
Well, you got to hope that these splits end up standing up. The Cardinals have been in desperate need of offense. They've been in desperate need of just stringing together a couple of hits. Right when you think you see things heading in the right direction, well, something happens afterwards. It'd be nice to be able to string a few together, and having Ozuna or Martinez up, Ozuna behind him, who we know can drive some guys in. Jerko, who we just saw the numbers of him on the road. I mean, these are three guys in a row that should be able to put a hurt on an opposing pitcher.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Martinez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jose tonight is struck out and also fly to center.
Just see that tight slider right there, 91 mile an hour from Musgrove. He's shown that one at like 87 to the 91. He's shown the fastball. He sinks it. He rides the four seam up in the zone. We've seen a changeup. He's got a lot of pitches.
Right down the middle, missed his spot, but Martinez did not go after it.
If you're going to miss down. And he did let that leak over the plate a little bit, but just nicked the bottom of the strike zone. You don't get hurt down there as much.
And the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed. Always talk about the eye of Matt Carpenter. Martinez with 2 strikes, very good in this spot.
He is really good. He does a great job of just driving the ball wherever it's pitched. So you would think right here 2-2. He went with the changeup under the zone 1-2. You think maybe he'll try slider away here. He's got a really good one we've seen already today. Jose Martinez can stay right on that thing, drive it the other way. For all the talk of the meetings coming into the season, you have the no, it hasn't been.
No,
it's been a bit of a non-factor. Now I don't know if it has sped up the game like Major League Baseball was hoping it would. And there are certain catchers. Yadier Molina likes to go out there. He does a great job at it, and he has had to change a little bit of what he does. But overall, I'm not sure it's made a big adjustment. But I do think we might have made a bigger deal about it than necessary.
Agreed. I think it's going to be fascinating to hear what those on the rules committee come up with after this year, because pace of play is talked about every night, every ballpark. I say it all the time. No one at the ballpark, I don't think, cares. Those that watch, though, they want to see movement. They want to see action.
I'd say a series of fines for every time you punch out.
There you go. Inside, 3-2.
That's a lot of protein swirling around him right there. The bugs are out in full force.
And a swing and a miss. 6 strikeouts for Musgrove.
out of the Cardinal bullpen, Jordan Hicks, but not talking now about his 105-mile-per-hour fastball. It's the 85 or 86-mile-per-hour slider he showed off on Wednesday. I talked to Jordan before tonight's game about that. He said it's getting better. He said it's been an adjustment because when he was a starter, he usually picked up the slider the second or third inning and felt confident in it. Coming out of the bullpen, he's got to be ready to go. I said, do you work on that maybe in warm-ups? He said, no. During warm-ups, I still try to get that fastball going because I want confidence in that. But the slider, we saw it on Wednesday. If he has the fastball and that slider, look out.
Well, I thought Jim Edmonds, brought up a great point on our telecast yesterday. He said, look, as a hitter, you know 105 is coming. So you do gear up for that. It's in the back of your mind just about every pitch. There's a base hit into right for Musgrove, just past Martinez. He said, so if he's got command of the slider, it's over.
As a hitter, the big thing you want to do is just eliminate it, right? And you're able to do that. It's hard. It's hard, though, as a pitcher. I was thinking about this beforehand. He throws 105 mile an hour. By the way, throwing that baseball in might have been his first knock right there. Congratulations to Joe Musgrove. You always remember your first hit. You always remember that one. You throw 105 miles an hour. You're 21 years old. And the thought process would be oftentimes, I wonder if I get 106. I wonder if I get 107. But you can't. You can't live like that because you're absolutely right. As a hitter, if you know one thing is coming, these guys are incredibly good. They've got fast hands. They see it. Even though his fastball moves, I've never seen anything like his fastball. 104, 105 with sink. You still have a chance to put it in play. If you've got that slider, that's a whole nother game.
Well, Jeremiah brought up an interesting point about Hicks, the slider when he's getting loose. He said it's more about fastball command. How about for you as a bullpen guy? What are you doing as you get ready and thinking about coming into a game?
Yeah, you know what the big thing is? You just want to make sure your arm is ready. So you're going to uncork the fastball. You want to get a good feel for your release point, and that makes all the sense in the world is him just getting that fastball ready. You do want to get a little bit of a feel for it in the warm-up, on the field, on the game mound, throw a couple of off-speed pitches.
That's in the gap in right center. All the way to the wall. Musgrove, he will score, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. Scores all the way from first, and the RBI by Harrison.
Well, they had missed Josh Harrison. He'd been on the shelf for a while. Gant throws him a slider, just belt high middle. Does a great job of just staying with it. Drives it in the gap the other way. And an inning ago, Gant was up in a position where you hoped he'd help himself out. Well, Musgrove helps himself out right here, getting on base and legging that thing out.
So Harrison, the RBI double, and now Gregory Polanco, who is 0 for 2. They start to stir now in the Cardinals' pen. You've been that guy, that swing guy of very similar to what Gant has gone through. Starter, sometimes reliever. You just wonder, what's left in the tank in a game like this.
Yeah, you do, and you keep an eye on it, and it's about eyeball test. It's not necessarily a pitch count. He's sitting right here at 72. You don't worry about that as much. You worry about the action on the pitches. Is he finishing it? Is he leaving stuff up in the zone? We've seen a couple of those here.
Brett Cecil getting loose. You've got the potential of after Cervelli, a switch hitter, then 3 lefties in a row. Tyler Lyons, Cardinals are talking about that at some point could be activated this weekend, and that's one of the reasons why all the lefties in this lineup.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have that second lefty. Dominic Leone was one of the guys that you trusted as a right-hander to get those with that hard cutter slider that he has. But without him, you need another one. Brett Cecil has been very, very good coming back this year. He's finally got that feel for that breaking ball. His body's allowing him to throw it. It's got that nasty snap to it. But to have another one, you hope that the time that was spent on the DL for Tyler Lyons, he's able to get back to the guy that he was last year, because you put him in any spot last year and you knew he was going to mow down the opposition. It had been obvious that he'd been pitching through some things so far this year.
The 1-2 to Polanco. Hit to the right side, knocked down by Wong, has time and makes the play. Harrison advancing to third. Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app, where you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch. Sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of the Cardinals. Cardinals will bring the infield in. Cervelli 0 for 2, grounded out to short, and also struck out. So again, the infield in. Oh boy, Cervelli hit by the pitch.
Well, you've seen in this inning a couple of pitches up in the zone. You see this fastball just get away from him arm side. And you got to wonder, is he starting to feel it a little bit?
And here comes Mike Matheny. So Brett Cecil coming on when we come back. 1-0 our score. Over 300 hours of coverage. World's biggest sporting event, June 14th, only on Fox and FS1. Josh Bell will be the hitter against Brett Cecil. Our Chevy called to the pen.
Brett Cecil had that forgettable year last year. Spent a little time on the DL this year, but since coming back, he's looked very good, very efficient with the breaking ball. And it was a very good performance by John Gant today.
So Bell 1 for 2. And a fly ball lifted out to deep left, backing up Ozuna. He'll make the catch. Runner tags from third, and that makes it 2-0 Pittsburgh. Harrison will score. The Hyundai pitch arsenal on Brett Cecil. Our score 2-0, 2 outs, runner at first, and Corey Dickerson will be the hitter.
Well, not a rare thing to see a lefty coming out of the pen that throws his off speed more. You see the 45% there on the breaking ball, and this year it just had more depth. It's spinning more. You could just tell, especially left-handed hitters are having a way tougher time picking it up than they were a year ago.
Again, another night in which the Cardinals get very good starting pitching, but yet no runs on the board, and they trail 2-0.
Well, we talked earlier in the game about how great the Pirates bullpen has been, even though there's been a little flux in that 8th inning. I mean, this is a bullpen that has bent a few times this year, but has not broken yet. As you mentioned, they haven't lost a game yet after having the lead through 6 innings. Now, hopefully that's a trend that's going to change.
They have one of the best closers in baseball, Felipe Vasquez. So you run out of time. You think about really having to shorten up the game. You'll have the 7th, the 8th, and then Vasquez in the 9th.
Well, you know this. Nobody's unhittable. Whoever they end up throwing out there, Feliz, even as good as he's been in the 8th inning, gave up a couple his last time out.
And that's a base hit into the corner and right. Fowler will dig it out. The relay to the plate. Not in time.
Brett Cecil just tries to get in there with the fastball. It's off the plate a little bit, but it's up enough for Dickerson to get the barrel to it. And great hustle right here by Cervelli, scoring all the way from first.
Here's Colin Moran. And a strike. So close the book now on Gant. Pitching into the 6th, but 3 runs allowed. Oh, 0-2. Fly ball hit down the right field line, and it is foul.
Brett Cecil gets away with one huge right here. This is an 0-2 breaking ball. I mean, this pitch here, you got a runner at third base. You know you've got to bury it. You got to trust your catcher and be able to bounce this one, whether you miss down under the zone or you miss away. This one slips out of his hand and misses being a home run by about a foot right there.
Corey Dickerson is the runner at third base. He got about halfway down the third base line on that last pitch, to the point that Carpenter had to come over and just try to keep him close. They've got a left-handed bat, so he's off the line. And Jose Martinez just pointed to Francisco Pena and said, hey, watch him.
Well, the thought there trying to get down the line is 2 strikes. If he buries that breaking ball, kicks away at all, and he's got a chance of scoring. Tough foul tip right there. Pena's been taking a beating back there the last couple of times. Looks like this one caught him maybe on the inner thigh. No pad for that.
It's another 0-2 pitch. The line out to Colton Wong. Sends us to the 7th. Big inning for the Pirates and a 3-0 lead. $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. It's Marcell Ozuna, Jed Jerko, and Dexter Fowler. No runs scored last 18 innings here at PNC Park.
Sounds like a do factor to me.
You'd like to think so.
It's about that time, isn't it? A little nice and easy over the fence right here would be good. It's not going to tie the game, but it certainly would take a chip out of it. Ozuna last time up had a little broken bat ground ball up the middle. Ended up getting a knock.
Remember, Cervelli was hit by a pitch, and you wonder if Ozuna's thinking, well, they're coming after me. That pitch outside, 2 balls and no strikes. That's probably what that conversation was about.
I've got a feeling it sounded something like that. And if in fact he was, I mean, 2-0 if he goes inside again.
Ozuna hits it inside the first baseline. And he will test Polanco on his way to second and safe at second. A double for Marcell Ozuna, his second hit.
Just gets a ground ball to the right side right here. We've seen Polanco show off his arm a couple of times today. Ends up just getting the bat on this thing. Once again, if you put the ball in play, you never know, something good might happen. Marcell Ozuna just hustling out of the box and ends up getting 2 out of this.
2 hits tonight, and not very hard hit balls, but Marcell will take them.
Once again, lasers in the book. It helps out the average. It helps out the confidence. And if you could string together another knock, and I don't care how ugly it is, that would help out the score.
Ooh, that's a pitch that Jed Jerko would love back for Ozuna. That was his first double since May 5th against the Cubs. First extra base hit since May 11th at San Diego, a home run.
Jed Jerko gets one, as you said, he would want back. 91, inner half up. A pitch that he usually does a lot of damage on. Fouls it right back. Just missed that thing.
Oh, and 2. Jed is 1 for 2 tonight. Base hit to left and lined out to second. Hitting .375 in these spots this year. Gets the start at shortstop tonight. Inside corner. Struck him out. That's 7 tonight for Musgrove.
Well, Musgrove was getting these pitches called in off the plate. This one looks to be about a ball off. But after getting a call before that in there, then tying up 2 pitches ago, tying up Jerko inside, he goes back for it again for a 7th strikeout. Well executed pitch, because you know that Jerko hits fastballs well. He struggles with off speed down and away, and Jed's thinking the same thing likely. You're able to paint that fastball in the inner half and you freeze it.
Here's Dexter Fowler, and a ground ball to the right side taken by Harrison. Ozuna advancing to third base.
Catcher, Francisco Pena.
And the batter will be Francisco Pena. Pena tonight grounded into a double play. Also grounded out to second. 2 outs, runner at third. Cardinals have a right-hander getting loose in their pen. No activity yet for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Musgrove here at 6 2/3, only 66 pitches, been very efficient so far today.
Hit to short. Mercer with time. Time to stretch. Cardinals trying to runner, their 4th of the night. And the Pirates have a 3-0 lead. the night for Joe Musgrove is through, and boy, he was impressive, wasn't he?
He was really good, and you know that this is something that he wished happened right at the beginning of the season. He ended up finding himself on the DL right before spring training, had 4 starts in rehab in the minor leagues to get back to here, and that long-awaited first outing as a member of the Pirates is finally over, and it was a great one.
Here's Austin Meadows. Long, tough play here. And a base hit. Tough play there for Colton Wong, no doubt. Well, you had Cecil in there still to get one guy, and that was Meadows. And now with a right-handed batter coming up, Mike Matheny goes back to his pen.
Well, Colton Wong tries to make that play. Even if Martinez picks that thing cleanly, Meadows runs really well. Is not going to get it. Tough one there. Good pitch by Brett Cecil.
So John Brebbia coming on when we come back. Every moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, going further so you can. It's turned out to be a gorgeous night here in Pittsburgh. We understand there may be a little rain tomorrow and again on Sunday. We'll have to wait and see. John Brebbia pitched Tuesday against Kansas City. Stranded a pair of runners, 3 consecutive foul pop-outs. 1 inning of work in his Chevy Colt to the pen. So Brebbia into the ballgame to face Mercer, the pitcher spot, and then Harrison. Adam Frazier has moved to the on-deck circle. Hits from the left side. Mercer tonight is 0 for 2. And check on the runner, Austin Meadows, who has 1 stolen base this year.
You want to be smart with him, though. You want to keep him close, make sure he doesn't get a jump. Brebbia needed that scoreless outing against Kansas City. Also, you mentioned him getting out of the jam. He had 4 outings in a row where he had given something up. It was nice to have that one. You know how good he is when he's on.
Brebbia would love a ground ball and a double play. And now time called. Boo, they say here at the ballpark.
I'll tell you what, that one right there, the hold oftentimes is even more effective than the pick over. a runner gets very uncomfortable over there at first base, just kind of standing there. Now that time the hitter got uncomfortable standing there, but it's very effective in the running game.
There he goes. Pena's throw is high and into center field. Stolen base number 2 for Meadows.
Well, Brebbia does a very good job of holding the ball there, but as soon as he kicks, he goes, and this one just sailed. Never had a chance out of Pena's hands right there.
One and one. Puts the ball in play. Brebbia, no one there at third, to first and safe.
Well, Brebbia's got his momentum going this way. Carpenter's not sure if he's going to be able to get to it, so he breaks for the ball as well. But as soon as Brebbia turns to look at third, you automatically don't have time. It's not that Mercer is a burner necessarily, but that ball wasn't hit well. He was running hard. It's a tough play right there. You'd like Carpenter to be home on that one, but he doesn't know if Brebbia's going to be able to jump. You just kind of get caught in between.
And a strike to Adam Frazier. He'll be the pinch hitter here with runners at first and third. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Frazier. Nothing in 2.
See that nice breaking ball to start him out with away, then goes 95 away. You got him leaning out that way.
Puts the ball in play, racing in Ozuna, and he'll make the catch. They will run on him, but stop.
I mean, that ball was very, very shallow. Surprised that he would even try to test him that much, but I guess you want to see what the throw is. We know that the arm hasn't been there too much. He's been dealing with a few things.
I think that's
find out.
You know what? We really haven't. Yeah, we haven't really seen Ozuna throw all that much this year. And if you watched in the series in New York, the play that Tommy Pham cut in front of Ozuna, now Mike Matheny will tell you that his arm, while it may not be 100%, it's certainly good enough to get people out.
Well, you're breaking hard over there, Meadows is, and you're keeping your ears open for your third base coach. Cora's yelling at him. He can see the ball in front of him, but you can know if that throw is going to be up the line. And John Brebbia here, I mean, he's a ground ball away from getting out of this.
There's Josh Harrison. RBI double to right center. A run scored. He's 1 for 3. And he fouls it back. Infield is drawn in. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Harrison. Fouled back again. 0-2. Our Budweiser play of the game, Harrison's double to right center. That would score the pitcher, Musgrove. Pirates added 2 more on after that. They lead 3-0. Runners at first and third. And time called.
Brebbia just slowing it down again, holding the ball. I always found for me that was a difficult thing to do. I was so amped up, so ready to throw. He's calm out there. He's able to do that and still execute a pitch. And he's going to have to execute here. 0-2. You've got runners at first and third. Scoring has been at a premium for the Cardinals, to say the least, over the last couple of games. You got to be able to strand that guy. You got to be able to bury a pitch down and away.
Good job. A pitch out and away that you talked about. Good sink too.
It's 95 mile an hour out there. He's probably looking for a slider and gets the old fastball right there. You see him just wave at it. It might have been a little bit off the plate, but that was a very, very good pitch. 0-2 right there.
He's now 1 out from getting out of this jam. They'll get Gregory Polanco, who is over 3. Hitting 148 with runners in scoring position.
I'd like to see that go down.
You may. We'll see. Brebbia has got some pretty good stuff here tonight. Runners at first and third. And a strike.
Nice breaking ball right there. You're 1-0. You want to get back into the count. Throw that thing. Polanco's not looking for that. He's looking for something up, out, over. He can extend his hands on and drive. Very nice pitch right there by John Brebbia.
Tell you what, this guy's got good stuff.
It really does.
I mean,
what a find.
Not always is it going to work out, but for the most part, really good stuff. Here's a 1-1 pitch by Brebbia to Polanco. Two and 1 the count. Polanco is struck out, lined out, and grounded out. He's put the ball in play. It's been to Colton Wong. Three and 1.
Well, you certainly don't want to give in right here to Polanco. You still got a place to put him, even though Cervelli has swung the bat fairly well recently. Still got to execute a good pitch. You're not just going to lay one in there to Polanco. You know how dangerous he is.
And the breaking pitch taken low, and so the base is loaded for Francisco Cervelli. begin with a base hit by Meadows. Then Mercer, Frazier, the pinch hitter, flew to shallow left. Strikeout of Harrison. Walk to Polanco. And they're loaded up for Cervelli. Brebbia just trying to keep this a 3-run Pittsburgh lead. You know, you walk Polanco and it loads him up, and I'm not sure that Brebbia minds that all that much with a righty-righty matchup
no,
here.
not at all. Yeah, he's got the good matchup. He's got a very good breaking ball. He can ride that, even though it's dangerous to do. And you saw the graphic a second ago. He's got 3 grand slams in his career. He's got enough life on his fastball where if he wants to ride it in on him, he can. It is a better matchup right here for Brebbia.
Cervelli does have 3 grand slams in his career. A .291 hitter with the bases loaded. And a fly ball lifted out to right. Fowler going back over his head and off the wall. Cervelli clears the bases.
Brebbia goes with the heater outside, middle up a little bit, and Cervelli does a very good job of just staying on and driving it that way. He has all year. I mean, that's a pitch that he's been able to hit. Obviously, Brebbia is trying to get that thing down in a way. Just being elevated enough lets Cervelli clear the bases on that double.
And with that, a 6-0 Pirates lead. Brings in Josh Bell. Bell tonight an RBI on a sac fly. Also singled to right, 1 for 2 at the RBI. He's now up to 28. One ball and 1 strike. Matchup tomorrow is Jack Flaherty and Trevor Williams. Well, 6-0 game. This would be the time to get Greg Holland in.
And I know that obviously not the plan coming into the season. It has been tough sledding for Greg Holland so far. But you got to figure out a way to get him right. You got to figure out games to get him in. That at this point, I mean, he's been hurting you in the 8th inning, so you can't let that happen anymore. But you know when he is right, when everything is going correctly for him, how effective he can be. And unfortunately, the Cardinals haven't been on the other side of these where they've been up 6 runs a time.
Popped up. Pena, to his credit, still in this ball game and limping after that pop-up. Wonder if maybe a guy like Stephen Barron would finish off this game now down by 6. I mean, you appreciate guys that play hard. They come to the ballpark. They give effort. They run after foul balls. They run down the line. They try to, break up double plays. You appreciate that. So all you ask as a fan, give me your best effort.
No doubt, and Pena does that and then some. It was kind of funny hearing him talk about his defense and not wanting to talk about his offense. I mean, that's a la Yanni Molina.
Little squibber, tough play here for Carpenter, and Bell beats it out. Nothing you can do about that. Another infield hit in this inning.
And when it rains, it pours as a pitcher. It just seems like that always happens when you're struggling a little bit, when you have that rough inning, when you do execute it and make a pitch. Something like that happens where little infield single. It's tough, but it's about how you bounce back.
So 2 outs and 2 on. 8th man to come to the dish in Corey Dickerson. fly ball into center. There's Tommy Pham. He'll make the catch. Big inning for the Pirates. They add 3 more. 6-0. Brad talked about a change in the 8th inning. Kyle Crick was a guy that they were kind of counting on to maybe be their 8th inning guy, bridge the gap to get to Felipe Vasquez. And now it looks like it'll be Michael Feliz who will be the primary 8th inning pitcher for Clinton Hurdle's club. We saw him in the previous series. Really good stuff.
Feliz gave up a couple his last time out, but he has taken over this role. He looks really good. We talked about it. I mean, this bullpen for Clint Hurdle, they have been outstanding. Lights out. You didn't love your chances coming back against them with a 3-run deficit. It's going to be very difficult with a 6-run deficit against these guys.
And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. That's hit out of play. Colton Wong tonight 0 for 2, grounded out to short and struck out. With leading after the 6th, the Pirates 21-0. Good late inning relief for Pittsburgh.
Well, it's even more impressive that that 8th inning has been in flux. If you have a push button bullpen where you know who 7, 8, 9 is all the time, and it is easier to build from the back end, and they absolutely have that with Felipe Vasquez, but to be able to interchange that piece. Contos was the guy. George Contos was their 8th inning guy off the bat, and he struggled mightily. By the way, Contos was designated for assignment today to make room on the roster for Joe Musgrove, their starter. So disappointing for him, obviously, and for the organization because he was such a big part of it. But Feliz has done a great job of just filling this role. And once again, another guy that came in that trade.
Christian Day is coming up at the ballpark. The featured speaker will be Willie McGee, presented by Thrivent Financial. Cardinals.com/Christian Day. Here's Tyler O'Neill. He'll pinch hit for John Brebbia. And strike one. O'Neill 9 for his last 20, 3 home runs.
There's one thing you know about Tyler O'Neill. He's not going to get cheated.
No. And his helmet probably doesn't stay on. You notice that too?
Swing so hard. I mean, how's he going to?
Here's the 0-2. Upstairs, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned that Flaherty is coming up in this series in game number 2 tomorrow. Miles Michaelis Sunday. Strikeout of O'Neill. Lineup for the Cardinals tonight with 5 hits and 8 strikeouts. Brings in Tommy Pham. Hitless tonight. He is 0 for 3. Grounded out to short twice and also was called out on strikes.
Just cannot get that inning where you string a couple together. I mean, we just haven't had one yet. It's 1 hit here. Next inning, another hit. Momentum has been a very difficult thing to come by with this team.
A ball and a strike. Well, Pham needs one of those maybe infield hits, little bloops to get back on track.
You know, with Tommy, and I feel this way with a lot of guys in this lineup, but Tommy has been productive throughout. He's not going to be slumping for too long.
Or he could just do that. Right center and gone. That'll help. Long home run. Boy, that's some power there. The opposite way in right center. Tommy Pham with home run number 9. Tommy told me yesterday we got to the team hotel. He said, you know, Dan, I need about 3 home runs this weekend. That sounds pretty good. Well, there's one.
No big deal. One a day. He's on a good pace so far, and that was big time power right there. Fastball away, drives it the other way. The wind is absolutely not blowing out that way, and Tommy Pham stays on this one really well after grounding out to shorter a couple of times today and punching out once. That had to feel good. You talk about a momentum shifter. A swing like that might be able to do it for Tommy Pham.
So the solo home run. Well, that's a long way. Look at where this lands. Don't see many from a right-handed batter go there.
I was watching Tommy Pham down on the field taking batting practice today, and you know, first round oftentimes, I mean, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to drive the ball the other way, but he was smashing the baseball into that gap. Now, none of them went quite that far. It's a little different game speed, but he's working on that stroke, working on covering the entire field. He covered all of it right there.
It snapped in 0 for 17 for Tommy Pham. Pitch taken high by Carpenter. He's 1 for 3 with a single off the wall and right. And for Tommy Pham, that was his longest or second longest drought of his career. One thing you know about Tommy, it may be 6-0, but you're going to get his best. Win, lose, or draw. And a ground ball that's hit to Harrison, and Carpenter is retired. Home run by Pham, 6-1.
It had looked like Greg Holland was trending in the right direction. He had 4 outings in a row where he didn't give up anything, and you thought, all right, well, maybe he has found it. Well, his last 3, he has struggled. Combined in the last 3 outings for Greg Holland, he's thrown 1 inning, given up 6 earned runs. And you just know how good his stuff is. I mean, we saw it. We saw it last year. We've seen it over the years.
That's out to left, and Ozuna with the catch. So Holland gets the first man. And don't forget about our Cardinals Hall of Fame induction. Won't be that long. August 18th. It's presented by Edward Jones. Harry McKean, Vince Coleman, Ray Langford. 3 o'clock August 18th. Open to the public. I'm curious, Brad, from your vantage point of watching games on TV, being at the ballpark, seeing Holland. What are you seeing with him?
Well, he still has the tendency to miss arm side. Now, you can easily just look, oh, mechanically, that makes sense. He would. He falls off to the first base side. His arm is out there, but that's how he's pitched. So it's not that. But he struggled at finding his release point. He's just missing up, out, over. That's something over the last couple of years. He's been able to make adjustments so quickly in game. So if he misses out over on one, the next one you know he's going to bury. Unfortunately, here recently, we've seen him make the same mistake over and over again. And then when you need to bury one with 2 strikes, it kind of slips out of his hand, the slider does, or the fastball rides up. But all it takes is a game. Maybe it's 2 games to just find it and have that confidence back, because Greg Holland has been on top of the pitching world. He has been one of the best relievers in this game. But your track record doesn't matter when you're struggling.
And that drops. It's a fair ball in front of Ozuna. And hustling to third, it'll be Austin Meadows with a triple. On a ball that looked like it may have been caught.
Well, Meadows gets something up here, drives it the other way, and it'll be interesting to get another look at this. Gets that breaking ball, just kind of center cut, does a good job staying with it. Marcell Ozuna going after it, and maybe the wall snuck up on him. Not necessarily a routine play, but one that you'd like to have made.
Infield is drawn in. Not saying it's an easy play either,
no,
but
you got the wall approaching, you're sprinting that way. Off of a left-hander's bat, you know that the ball is slicing that direction also towards foul territory. The wind is headed that way. But it looked like he had a beat on it initially and just kind of paused.
and a base hit into left center. All the way to the 410 side. Back-to-back triples. The first ball that was hit wound up being an out that was caught. May have been the hardest hit ball of the three that we've seen here against Holland. The next one could have been caught, certainly. And that one goes into the gap in left center. Right now, I mean, you got to wonder what's going through the mind of Mike Matheny and Mike Maddox, and certainly John Mozeliak and Michael Gersh. What is the next step for Greg Holland? As Freeze grounds it slowly left side. That's out number 2. Now, if you're seeing something that is good, and I mean, it might be just a pitch, you say that is what we're looking for. Now we have something to build on.
Yes. Well, and he's had some of that. Like I said, a couple of games ago, it was 4 games ago. He had a little bit of a run. It looked like he was going in the right direction. And you would see that wipeout slider here and there. But the problem has been execution pitch after pitch. And when you are going to be in a high leverage situation, that's exactly what he's been throughout his career, and he's earned every bit of it, and he earned every bit of the contract that he got this year, and probably, I'm sure that he was hoping for a bigger one. You got to be able to execute over and over again in that spot, and early on this year, and we're getting past early on, even though he didn't have a spring training, signs on opening day, you got to have that guy right.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Harrison. Look at the location on the triples here.
Get a breaking ball right here, outer half, but just up that Meadows can handle. Once again, breaking ball here, Mercer just up in the zone. It's just rolling in there off of his hand. He's just not getting that snap. So whether it's a grip, whether it's a feel, whether it is an extension issue, he's just not able to repeat it. Go back and look at Greg Holland video from early last year and how nasty that breaking ball was. And that was playing in Colorado, where the ball generally does not drop like you would see it somewhere else that has a little humidity. It was one of the best pitches out there, and that just thing hasn't been there for Greg Holland yet.
And it's into center. Here comes Pham, diving for it, and can't come up with it. In a 7-1 game, now 8. That's the effort you appreciate. Now Tommy Pham trying to take that base hit away. Almost came up with it.
He really did, and you appreciate it as a pitcher. Things are not going well for Greg Holland right now. We know that. And this game is not close. But if you are on the bump and you see that out of Tommy Pham, you truly do appreciate that, because anything at this point, just anything to get you out of the inning, anything to build a little bit of momentum for yourself really does help.
Here's Gregory Polanco, and strike one. Out of play, and it's 0-2. I say this a lot, and I know fans kind of roll their eyes when you say it, but this has got to be so hard right now for Greg Holland. Take the money out of the equation, all that.
It's not about money. It's about competition.
It's about competition, and it's about performance and results. He's not getting them. He's a proud guy that has been one of the best in baseball when he's right, and clearly now he's not, at least at this moment. And you know, it's tough. He's a human being. It's a hard thing to go through.
And I promise you this, Greg Holland is doing everything. He's doing everything that he can think of. He's working extra. He's trying hard, but it has been tough sledding.
All right, guys, thank you. This is Kyle Crick, right-hander that's into the ball game. And Jairo Munoz will pinch hit for Jose Martinez. There's a look at our Chevy call to the pen. And Munoz this past week had a 4-hit game. Munoz 5 for his last 8. This is the kind of game, if you're the Cardinals, you'd like to forget about quickly, and they'll have that chance because tomorrow is a day game. Flaherty and Williams come your way. 3:05 with the first pitch, St. Louis time. 2:30 the pregame show. Munoz off of Williams, hustling down the line, and they get him by a step for the out. Part of our Budweiser What's on Tap. And Jack Flaherty coming off one of the best rookie performances we've seen. You got to wonder how quick that Mike Matheny would be with a taking out Jack tomorrow. And I say that because of the 120 pitches that he had in his previous start. You got to be careful.
Yeah, you do. And once again, you don't always just have to look at the pitch count. Just trust your eyeballs. And Jack Flaherty will tell you by the way that he's throwing, hopefully late in the game, and hopefully we see him be efficient yet again. But he has been so good. When you look at all the starters the Cardinals have and everything that's on the horizon for the Cardinals, once again, Alex Reyes will be back soon. Punched out 13. You've got Flaherty there, Weaver. You've got Carlos Martinez coming back. I mean, you have got so many guys, and not to mention Michaelis, who has been great, Waka, who has been great. So many options. And as we said earlier, that sounds like way too many guys for a 5-man rotation. Those things, they'll figure themselves out.
And last time out, spectacular with 13 strikeouts. And it wasn't just 13 strikeouts, but it was just the manner in which he attacked hitters and dominated.
Yeah, he did, and he was going after him with the slider. He established his fastball, only walked 1 in the game. He's just looked so comfortable this year. He's grown up quite a bit. And you can just tell by the way a pitcher carries himself that they feel as though they belong. When Flaherty got called up last year, you didn't quite know. Like he's still trying to feel through some things.
That right there sums up the night.
That's about it.
Quick pitch of Bader, put it in play. It's a fair ball, and he's tagged out. Either that or Harrison forgot how to swing a bat.
I doubt it's that one. Well, you're right. That's kind of just offensively overall how things have gone this evening.
So now it's Jed Jerko. Two balls and no strikes. Three and 0, and Dexter Fowler is on deck. And a base hit into left. Another chance to watch Fowler do his thing. Dexter tonight. Fly to center, double off the wall in right, also grounded out to second. And there's strike one.
very few positives coming out of the evening offensively for the Cardinals. Dexter Fowler hitting that double was one of them, but it would be nice to put up a crooked number in the hits category for Dexter. This game is all about momentum. If he could get a little bit of it, it certainly would help out.
And time is called. It was fielder's indifference. Jerko took the bag at second. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. And a ground ball that's hit to the right side. Bell flips to Crick, and the game is over. Cervelli, the big hit with the bases loaded. 8-1 the final here in Game 1. Jim Hayes and Al Raboski standing by with the post-game show here on Fox Sports Midwest.